Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. This is a new career mode save, and I'm going to try and go relatively fast here. We have 4 Kerbonauts to start out with, so let's see if we can include all of them in our first mission. It's only fair, right? That means we need 4 pods. Everybody gets a seat. And we might want some parachutes, of course. And science is also important. So let's put some mystery goo containers on there. Just one more. Everybody gets a mystery goo container. First launch. Okay. And maybe fix our staging here. So, going to the launch pad here. And we can start off with a crew report. Keep experiment. Observe mystery goo. And let's go ahead and launch. Go ahead and do a crew report as we're flying. Observe the mystery goo. Keep experiment. And hopefully we can at least make it over the water here. It's oddly super stable. Wants to stay pointed forwards. So let's deploy the parachutes here. And since we're over the water, we can do a crew report. Observe the mystery goo. Keep experiment, of course. And we should have one more mystery goo container after we've landed. Let's see if we can flip over here. There we go. And just time warp down to the surface. Here's our unused mystery goo container. Here it is. Need to wait for us to land, though. This is one of the slowest things in Kerbal Space Program, is a slow landing. Okay. Observe mystery goo. Keep experiment. Crew report. Keep experiment. Everything looks good. Recover vessel. So how much science did we get? 27.6 from all this stuff, and we have a total of 34. Okay. Now let's check our missions. Orbit Kerbin. That seems good. Test stack decoupler. Well, we could do that. There's a number of ones we could do. Escape the atmosphere seems good too. Hull. I wonder if our speed is going to be correct for this. I think we can go ahead and take this. Oh, we can't yet. Can we upgrade this thing? Let's see if we can upgrade the mission control. Now we can take some more contracts. Test swivel engine splashdown. That's pretty easy. Test the stack decoupler. Haul the parachute into flight. That's what we wanted. Okay. And let's do some research. Basic rocketry, engineering 101. Survivability will give us this barometer, another science experiment. And now we're out of stuff. Okay. Well, maybe we can fulfill some contracts while we're working on this. We finally have a liquid fuel engine, so let's try using that. Get some fuel tanks and an engine, and perhaps a decoupler would be a good idea. And a parachute. So, engine, decoupler, parachute. Swivel, test. Okay. So we're just gonna head into the ocean. Maybe we can do this parachute one at the same time. Go up to 4,000 meters. Let's try and do that. So, launch. Or you can leave that open, I guess. And turn towards the ocean a bit. And we just want to go up to 4,000 meters. I'll stay below 290 meters per second, which is our upper limit for the contract. Okay, so there's that contract done. Oh, I should have added a barometer to this too. Now I have this decoupler here, but I guess since we want to test the engine, we're going to need to do a powered landing. But that's fine. Just time warp a bit. Wait for the chute to deploy. Come on. Okay, well we have our first failure. Revert to launch, I guess. Let's try that again. Need to burn a little bit sooner and time warp a little bit less aggressively, I guess. So, head up to 4,000 meters, time warp. There we go. And deploy the chute. And we can go ahead and start burning a little bit. Burn a bit harder, I think. Okay. And we will just gently descend at 11 meters per second. We can time warp down to a little bit of a lower altitude. And we'll just slow down to a very gentle landing as we do our final approach to the water's surface. There we go. Run test on the engine. And the contract is complete. And recover vessel. Recover vessel, okay. There we go. Got a little bit of money. Not a lot of experience, though. Not a lot of science, either. And we would also like to use this barometer here. Let's just bring the solid fuel down to the smallest amount. Is that safe? Maybe we actually want to go up higher because of we want the parachute to deploy properly. So go to science and add a couple barometers, I guess. Oh, and we also have this thermometer, so we can add a couple of those. Check our staging, and go ahead and launch. And actually we can log the stuff at the launch pad and recover the vessel and then launch again. There we go. And just launch the same thing again. And launch vessel. I rarely actually click on the launch pad, I have to say. Usually launch from the vehicle assembly building. So, here we go. Log pressure data. Click on the thermometer. There we go. Keep the experiment. And just time warp a bit. Yeah, we're fine. Turn SAS off, maybe? No. We want to have the parachute facing up, I think. There we go. And time warp to the surface. Or actually, we don't need to wait till we get to the surface. We can log stuff now. There we go. Keep experiment. And the time warp, recover vessel. Okay, we're up to 40 science. That means we can research general rocketry. Get this Reliant fuel engine and a bigger fuel tank. Okay. Any missions we have? This is another pretty easy one. It's the same thing almost, exactly, actually. But it's not worth a lot of money. Oh, this is a much higher altitude. Well, we can go ahead and take that. All these focused atmospheric surveys. Nothing all that good. Now then, we are going to try and get into orbit. So, let's do that. Have a couple barometers, couple thermometers, couple mystery goo containers, maybe rotate them like that. And a heat shield. A decoupler. And something like 9 fuel tanks, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. One of these. Another decoupler. And maybe 3 of these. Just fix the staging here. Save up. And let's see if we can get this into orbit. Escape the atmosphere, orbit Kerbin. Okay. Throttle up, although it doesn't actually matter in the slightest. And we've launched. Decouple. And we'll be turning towards 90 degrees so that we're working with the rotation of Kerbin instead of against it or sideways to it. It's the most efficient way to get into orbit. We have fulfilled our contract to haul the parachute into flight. And I may have turned a little too hard. No, we're okay. It's stabilizing. We're doing just fine here. Atmosphere is getting thinner, so aerodynamic forces are getting weaker, while the reaction wheel forces stay the same. Reaction wheels are kind of overpowered in Kerbal Space Program relative to real life, but I'm not going to complain. It's probably a good choice from a gameplay perspective, I would say, to have those overpowered reaction wheels. They make turning your craft around to point at your maneuvers much, much less annoying. It would be quite annoying if you had to use RCS all the time for that. Okay. Well, we have escaped the atmosphere. Or no, we have not. We will escape the atmosphere. We're on a suborbital trajectory. So we'll fulfill at least one of these contracts. Oh, we don't have time to APO yet. I guess maybe our pilot isn't experienced enough? No, that's not right. There must be some upgrade we need to get. But we know how fast we need to be going sideways, and it is faster than we are currently going, so and we can sort of look at the distance between us and the APO. It is going down. How's our fuel doing? I will stop before we completely run out of fuel. It is getting a little low. Hopefully we'll be okay. 81 kilometers APO. And we have escaped the atmosphere. So let's observe the mystery goo. Keep experiment. Crew report. Keep experiment. Okay. Can this get into orbit? Let's wait a little bit longer. That's okay. Here we go. And we don't want to end up stuck, so I would like to keep an eye on our fuel too. I'll just check our velocity here. Peri is 12,000 meters. So if we warp to our new APO, I'm not doing the best job of piloting this, I'm afraid. If we warp here, we still have a little bit of fuel. How's our electric charge? Totally fine. And let's just pin our fuel up here. Make sure we don't run out. $40, $60, $70. There we go. We've entered orbit and fulfilled our contract. And we should have enough fuel to deorbit. But first, let's do some experiments. We can't do another crew report, but we can do another mystery goo. I guess I should have brought a thermometer along. Oh right, I did bring a thermometer along. Keep experiment. Log pressure data. And keep experiment. So now we just point in the opposite direction. Burn retrograde until this falls into the atmosphere. Come on. I always overshoot these without swivel engines or something. Usually I like to burn right as I get near the target. So let's just bring this down to 30 or so. There we go. And now we can just time warp until we re-enter the atmosphere. So now that we're in the atmosphere again, did I bring more of these? Okay, there we go. Log pressure data, keep experiment. Log temperature, keep experiment. Okay, hopefully those will survive re-entry. I guess we'll see. And quick save, just in case. And we can go ahead and decouple, I guess. Point retrograde. And time warp a bit. Oop. Yeah, you can time warp relatively safely with small crafts like this. Small craft. It's a little hard to turn the right way when you turn so fast, but it's not a big deal. I might slow down a little bit once we start getting heat issues, just so I can make sure the experiments are protected by the heat shield. Although, you know, if they burn up, it's not that big a deal. Oh, they're getting red. I can see that they're getting red. Will the mystery goo containers survive? That is the question. Well, we can look at the nice starry sky here. Maybe I should install some graphical mods if I'm going to record videos. On the other hand, that might make things even harder on my poor GPU. I think our experiments are doing okay. I think we've passed the point of maximum heating here. Yeah, we're getting below 1,000 now. And you can just time warp down, turn SAS off. And we're headed down to the surface. Looks like we'll be landing on the water. And we have slowed down to a gentle 6.5 meters per second. So it's safe to time warp down to the surface. And we have landed. So, recover vessel. How much science did we get? 65.3 from experiments, and we have a total of 120 now. Alright, well, we've reached orbit and returned to Kerbin, so I think that's enough for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.